It's day 15. Let's unlock the Bible from Isaiah chapter 53. We're going to talk about the suffering servant. Now, I don't know if you've ever read this chapter before, but this is a famous one because it is very prophetic about Jesus himself. It says, "My servant grew up in the Lord's presence like a tender green shoot, like a root in dry ground." And that's why we call this the suffering servant chapter. This is a powerful prophecy about Jesus himself. And remember, this was hundreds of centuries before Jesus was even born into the world. You know, that Mary and Joseph story that we'll look at in a little bit. So keep that in mind as you read on. It says, "He was pierced for our rebellion, crushed for our sins. He was beaten so we could be whole. He was whipped so we could be healed." Now, there's a term for this. Theologically, we call it substitutionary atonement. In other words, Jesus atoned for our sins as a substitute. He didn't sin. He was perfect. He was sinless. Jesus is God. But he took on our punishment. And that's what this psalm is talking about. It says he was oppressed and treated harshly, yet he never said a word. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter. And think about the story of the crucifixion, how true this is. And then this part right here in verse 10, "But it was the Lord's good plan to crush him and to cause him grief." And this is what I wanted to make sure you have in mind as you read this chapter. This is the beauty of the gospel right here. Jesus came to the earth to be the perfect sacrifice for the sins of humanity. And it was God's plan all along. It wasn't some mistake. It wasn't some reaction. It was what God had in mind from the creation of the world, to send Jesus to die for us. So think about it as you go and read Isaiah 53 for yourself.